Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, students at the Heights. We are powering up right now, and I hope you had a great week. I've had an awesome weekend. Right now, I want to bring in somebody extra special. He might need a little bit of help. Let's bring him in here. It's Matt.
I can't.
Come on.
Wait, I can't see. I
Come
have
on,
my ball,
you can
though.
do it. He's got his ball. Stand right here. Now, Matt, tell me, what's on your face?
Dizzy goggles? I got dizzy goggles
Dizzy
on.
goggles on. Okay.
Dizzy goggles.
All right. So let's test these out. Give me a high five. Yep, they work.
Oh, I think we only doing one?
That's my
I thought we were going to do it until we got it right. You just bailed out on me. Should we do it again?
No, yeah, we'll do it one more
ball?
time.
Okay.
Take the ball.
Okay.
And then we'll do another test here.
Solid.
We'll see how well Matt can catch, because this is fun.
I'm very
not going
dizzy.
to wear them yet. Ready?
Why is so many people
Matt,
talking?
turn this way.
No, I can't even.
You can.
Okay.
Ready?
All right, I'm ready.
One hand. I'm just kidding.
One hand.
He's got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
Good
even
job.
see it.
All those.
Couldn't even see it. This, all right, but wait. I feel like it's not fair.
It's not fair.
I feel you need to put some on
I'll
too.
put some on too.
Students at the Heights, what's up? Hey, welcome to Power Up. Welcome to Wednesday nights. We only got tonight. Did you know we got tonight and then 2 more weeks, and then we're transitioning from Wednesdays to Sunday morning. Sunday morning. Yeah, we're not going to be here on Wednesdays in 3 more weeks. We'll only be on Sunday mornings. But the coolest part, Ethan, they're going to be in the room with us. They're going to be right here, in here with us. But right now, for those of you who are in the chat, what I want you to do is, are you ready back there? I want you to smash my face. We're going to put my picture up, and I want you to smash my face and invite a friend. What it'll do is it'll give you a link to copy, paste into your text group, paste into your group me, your group chat, whatever it is, and invite a friend.
Yep.
Who in your crew, your squad, your group, your team, your
ensemble.
Yes. Who needs to be
Crusade.
here? Invite a friend right now.
Yep.
Right now. Do it now. Invite a friend.
Matt, I can't even tell if I'm speaking to the microphone right now.
Okay.
This is epic.
Ethan,
this
are you ready? All right, I have a. Do you know what this is?
This is something that's furry, and it's not up there.
Anybody? Hey, I will give a prize to anybody who can tell me what this is and where it's from.
What?
What?
You know what is it?
Jaden wins a
What
prize.
is it?
It's a puffle from Club Penguin. Yeah, of course it is. Yeah. Did you ever play Club Penguin?
No.
What?
What is that?
It was a video game for little kids. This was my son's when he was little.
You're sure?
I'm positive.
Didn't you play it? Was
No,
it your game?
You can't.
You can tell us.
You don't.
We
Nobody
can do this during
You
Power
can't
Up.
prove anything.
Okay.
All right, so
let me see.
I'm gonna toss a puffle to you. See if you can catch it. You ready? I'm gonna go underhand.
Okay.
I'm gonna go underhand. You ready?
I got it.
Did you get it?
No.
Where'd it go?
Where did it go?
I don't.
It's on the stage.
Go get it. Why
This is
didn't you
not
catch
fetch,
Ethan? Why
Matt.
didn't you catch it?
This is not fetch.
All right.
This is catch.
Okay, underhand to me.
Okay.
Underhand to me.
It looks like you're so far away.
Okay,
I
wait.
tried.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna get. Do you got us both in the shot? All right, I'm gonna underhand it to you. You ready?
Okay, let's go.
Okay. Did you get it?
No.
All right, this is harder than it looks.
It's really, really hard.
It's way harder than
really
it
hard.
looks. Hey, I'm looking for suggestions. We're looking for suggestions for Power Up, right? We like to do this segment to give you a chance to log in, kind of invite your friends. In fact, if you haven't done so yet, smash my face, invite a friend, get your buddies, get your crew, get your squad, get your ensemble.
Yeah, fancy.
Invited in.
That's fancy.
It's a fancy word.
Well, I
Fancy word.
just got to ask, because did you have a good weekend, Matt?
Man, I had a great weekend.
Did you do anything fun this weekend?
It was, well, I mean, it was Easter.
It was Easter, so you did something fun.
We did Easter Sunday.
Right.
We had the fam over, and we had way too much, and we played some games.
Did you eat a ham?
Always a ham.
Always a ham.
All right, but
Never
here's a question.
anything but a
Here's a
ham.
question for you.
Yeah.
Honey baked ham or store bought?
I don't know. You know what? Whatever's in front of me. At that point, it's like we're hungry. We're here to eat. It doesn't matter as long as it has that delicious like glaze over it.
So honey baked.
Well, I mean, don't they all have that?
I feel like it's different.
No,
I feel like it's
a little
different.
different.
Josh, read the chat. We're reading the chat.
We're reading the chat.
Gavin Miguel, I invited my friend Jackson.
Woo!
Why do we still have that? Why do we still have what? Oh, the puffle. Yeah, it was Sandy's. We still have it.
Yep.
It wasn't Sandy's, it was Chase's.
Yep.
Yeah, we still have the puffle. Why wouldn't I have it? That's not weird that I have it.
It's awesome.
Who else is in here?
Kid friendly.
Yeah, all right. Honey Baked. See, Sandy's
Honey
with
Baked.
me, but then she's my family. Say Honey Baked only. It's got to be
Okay.
Honey Baked.
Honey
Max, what do you get at your house? You eat a ham on Easter? Is it ham? All right, but what does your family eat? They ham or turkey.
You know what
All
I
right.
had? I had a tofurkey.
Whoa.
Because I'm the vegan eater here.
Are you?
And you can
don't
make
eat meat?
fun. No, I don't eat meat.
Then what would you know about that honey glaze?
I've eaten ham before, Matt. I've eaten ham before. I know what it tastes like. I've been there.
Whoa.
All right?
Whoa. I didn't mean to like.
Settle down. Well, you know what I did? Actually, at Easter, I did Easter, but on spring break, I went to IKEA, Matt.
Yeah.
I've never been to IKEA
Wait,
before.
you've never been to IKEA?
Never been to IKEA before.
Did you get lost in it?
I did not. You know what? I had, there's this whole stereotype about IKEA. You go to IKEA, you get lost there.
Yeah.
You bring something
Yeah,
home,
yeah.
you can't assemble it,
Yeah.
that whole thing.
Yeah. Or it's missing a piece.
I thought IKEA was delightful.
Oh, I'm not saying I don't like IKEA.
I thought it was, no, but everybody says stuff about IKEA. I'm going to take these off.
Did you have the Swedish meatballs? Did you eat at
No,
the cafe?
I couldn't eat the Swedish. We've got them.
Oh, that's right. You're vegan. You
But
don't.
I
You've
have
never
been-
eaten meat.
I
Let me
have
tell you
eaten-
what meat tastes like. Meat.
I've eaten meat, man. But I have had vegan Swedish meatballs, and they're really good. My wife tells me that IKEA has the best
They do.
Swedish
They do.
meatballs.
This is
But
facts.
I brought something home from IKEA.
What did you buy?
It's a credenza. When I was a kid, I never thought
credenza.
about. Yeah, it's just basically a
credenza.
place to store stuff in your house. Like it's just if you have enough space to put this big wooden thing here, that has a fancy name, you could put stuff in it.
What do you put in your credenza?
I have nothing in my credenza, but I made it. But here's the thing. I was at home, and I was, you have to get all the parts out.
Right,
and
right.
they glue those
Right, right.
boxes
Yeah.
together. So it's like you have to tear this thing, rip it open
You know
like
why
a
they do
Wolverine.
that?
What?
It's because they don't want it. And they think, no, for
That's
real.
what I was
Like,
thinking.
I
That's
thought
what
this through. If you destroy the box, you can't bring it back.
That's what.
There's
Good
no
luck.
bringing that back.
Good luck returning this
So
one.
they just glue the heck
Yeah.
out of it, and then you can't get it. You can't take it back.
But I got it out, and I read the instructions, and you know what? There's no words, but it was actually really cool. It was actually really cool because I didn't really need words at all. That's how well they explained it without words.
Yeah.
But I'm taking my screwdriver to it, and I'm getting in there, and I'm like going really hard with the screwdriver trying to screw this in. And then it's taking me forever, and I'm sweating. I'm like pouring sweat trying to screw stuff in, and it's so hard to do. And then in that moment,
Yeah.
I said, let me try a bigger screwdriver.
Yeah.
And I went and I tried the bigger screwdriver, all right? And I screwed a screw in once, and it was really easy. That quick. Now, how dumb did I feel?
How dumb did you feel?
I felt really dumb. Let's just say that. I felt really dumb. But I felt it was almost like a metaphor, I had some great God time with it, and I realized one thing. I kind of...
Wait, did you have great God time with it because you were swearing at it?
I was not swearing at
Okay.
it. I was not swearing at it. That was not
in
it.
your mind, under your breath, were you cursing it?
No, I was
Okay.
actually, what? It was hard because
Yeah.
not everything really works out the way that you want it to. Like I'm grinding all of these screws and everything like
Yeah.
that. But you know what I realized? In that moment, I realized that maybe sometimes in life, you're using the wrong screwdriver.
Wow.
You're using the wrong tool.
Ethan,
In your heart.
you hit me deep
Hit-
right there.
And you know
that
what?
one hit different.
Yeah. And you know what? I realized as well, Jesus,
Yeah.
Son of God,
Yeah.
came on this earth.
Yeah.
God in the flesh, right?
Yeah.
Emmanuel.
Yeah.
God with us.
Yeah.
His job.
Yeah.
What was his job?
Is he the screwdriver?
No.
No, I thought I was vibing with you. I thought, oh, it's a tool analogy. We're going with.
Well, he was a carpenter, right? And
So he probably used a
he
screwdriver.
well, you
Did
gotta
they have
think about it.
screwdrivers in
I'm not
first century
sure. I was
Egypt,
gonna
Israel?
look this up. I was
Yeah.
gonna-
What? 40
Yeah.
seconds. We got 40
But-
seconds. Close your story.
God could have been anything in the world when he came to the earth, and he was a carpenter. And you know what? Mind blown. He could have probably, instead of working through all those problems, he probably could have just been like Boom, credenza.
He could have gone to IKEA.
Boom, chair. Yeah.
Could have just gone to IKEA.
He could have done those things, but
And,
he
he,
didn't.
and I bet you, had he gone to IKEA, he would have had the Swedish meatball.
Yeah, he probably would have. He probably
Because he
would've.
knows.
Yep.
He probably knows. Those are like God's
Think
Swedish
about that.
meatballs. Perfect, the Lord's Swedish meatball.
That's right.
Hey, right now, we're about to transition. We're about to go play a big game. Last chance. Smash my face right now. Invite a friend. Get him into the chat. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. All right, so tonight we're going to play a game. Oh, just to let you know, for those of you who don't know, because I didn't tell you yet, last week's game, remember we played a game last week, Dumbledore or Proverbs? I want to let you guys know, 2 people won. The first winner was Gavin McGill. He got a $10 Fizz gift card. And Amber Taylor, she got a Fizz $10 gift card. So tonight, once again, we are playing for a $10 Fizz gift card. Get in the chat. If you're here in the room, you can play too. Just jet in the chat. Up at stake, up for grabs, $10 Fizz gift card. Tonight's game, and this was inspired because this past weekend was beautiful. I was out in my yard. I was enjoying the sunshine. And I thought, you know what? Ethan, you know what I thought? I thought it would be interesting to see what kind of things floated. You ever think about what would float? All the time. I think about what would float all the time. And so I thought, let's make a game and see what will float. So here's how the game's going to be played. You're going to see an item shown on your screen. And all you have to do is throw in the chat if you think it will float or not float. And whoever guesses right will get a point. And whoever gets the most points will get a $10 Fizz gift card. So it's pretty simple. Here we go. Here's the first one. Will it float? A can of soda. Who thinks a can of soda will float? Throw it in the chat if you think it'll float. No, it was good. What are you doing? Will it float? Will it float? Jax says yes, it'll float. Jax, what's up? Gavin's friend Jax joining us in here. Amber Taylor says yes. Sandy says no. The correct answer is... Oh, no, it won't float. You never put it... All right, look, you put... No, a full can of soda. You put it in and it sinks, yeah. I mean, you put soda in an ice chest before, right? It doesn't all float at the top. It sinks, goes down, goes to the bottom. All right, here's the next one. Will it float? A banana. You ever put a banana in a bucket of water? Max, if you put a banana in a bucket of water, you ever do that? Do you think it would float? Max says no. All right, the correct answer is... Yeah. Try this. Try this at home. Get a bucket, get a banana, put the banana in the bucket of water, and the banana will float. I know, I'm not a science teacher. I have no explanation why these float. I can just tell you if they do or not. All right, here's the next one. Will it float? A golf ball. Joshy, will a golf ball float? Yes or no? Yeah, see, those of us who've golfed, we know all too well. We know all too well. Will it float? Amber says no. Sandy says no. Jack says yes. Gavin says no. Jack changed his answer to no. The correct answer is... Bethany says no way. Yeah, it sinks. It's amazing. See, I'll go golfing. Any golfing. I'll go golfing. If there's water nearby, my ball is going straight for it and sinking to the bottom. It's how I play. It's how I roll. Here's the next question. Will it sink? Will it float? A potato. A potato. What do you think? Max, potatoes, are going to float or sink? Yeah, keep calling on you because you got your head in your phone. He thinks it's going to sink? Thinks it's going to sink? You made sink and stew, they sink? Yeah, let's see. Will it float? That's right. Nope. No, a potato sinks. Yeah, no, potato sinks every time. Potato sinks every time. All right, here's the next one. Will it sink? Will it float? keep forgetting what I named this. A roll of toilet paper. Have you never put a roll of toilet paper in a bucket of water? Does it float? All right, but the question is, if you drop it in the toilet accidentally, do you go in after it? I think the answer to that is no. The answer to this, will it float, is it floats. Apparently it floats. So you can retrieve it. Half of it's going to be nasty, but yeah, you could. You probably shouldn't. Probably best if you don't. But it works. It would work. Now we know. The whole roll in, you put jacks. Yeah, you put the whole roll in the toilet. It floats. Yeah, all right, here's the next one. Will it float? A plastic mail bottle. And here's my bet, right? Here's my bet. While they're answering this one online. Every single person watching this right now is going to go after this into the bathroom and drop that whole roll into the toilet to see if it floats. It's, I don't know, it's a plastic bottle. Will it float? The answer is, yeah, that floats. Yeah, that floats.
Now I know that somebody before this video went actually did.
Yeah.
Because of the mail.
Yeah.
Because that's really random.
Yeah, it floats. Yeah, that floats. How many more do we got, Riley? How many more do we got? All right, well, here's the next one. Will it float? I don't know. She's not answering. How about a paper clip? A paper clip. Will this float? What do you think, Jaden? Paper clip, is it going to float? Yes or no? I don't know. Is there a difference? Is there a difference? All right, Sandy says no. Gavin says yes. Jackson says yes. The correct answer is no. That thing's gonna sink. It's metal. It's a little piece of metal. It's gonna sink every time. It's very low surface tension. See, that's how I didn't know that. Here's the next one. Will it float? Here you go. A can of frosting. Can of cake frosting. Max, what's your gut tell you? Is that gonna float or sink? He thinks it's going to levitate. It's not even going to touch the water. It's just going to float above it. Chris Angel plays Will It Float. All right, what do we got in the chat? Aiden says no. Gavin says no. Jackson says no. Sandy says no. It looks like everybody says no. The answer is that thing's going to float. That thing's floating. Yep. You should. All right. All right, here we go. Next one. Will it float? An egg. A raw egg. Is that thing going to float? Is it going to float? If it's rotten, you think it'll float? Depends on the egg. All right, well, you got a 50-50 shot. What do you think? Is this egg going to float or sink? She doesn't know. We got some yeses. We got some nos. Aiden and Aubrey say, Aiden and Aubrey, what's up? Good to see you guys. How old? I don't know, Jackson. It's an egg. It's in your fridge. How long do you guys keep eggs if it's old? All right, the correct answer is? The answer is? Here we go. That thing's probably going to sink. If it's fresh, it's going to sink. I think if it's old, they float. If your eggs are floating, don't eat it. Don't eat that. You're going to get salmonella. You're going to get something nasty. All right, we got one more, two more. How many more? Two more. Here we go. An umbrella. If you drop an umbrella into the pool, is that going to sink or float? No, like all wound up like it is. Is it going to sink or float? Like this one, I think this one, there's some questions like, is the handle made of cork? Like, I think there's some composition questions on this one that might sway it one way or the other.
You can see the picture. It's all metal.
Yeah. All right. So the correct answer is? That thing's going to float. That umbrella is going to float. Probably because, like, at least for a minute, because maybe the fabric and everything captures enough air and it just floats a little. All right, here we go. Is this the last one? All right, last one. A cell phone. Is that going to float or sink? If you've ever dropped your phone in water, you know the answer to this one already. Well, I mean, I feel like plenty of people have dropped their phone in the water. The correct answer is... Yeah, no, that thing's gonna sink. That phone's sinking. That phone's sinking. All right, so I'm gonna welcome our worship team up on stage right now, and let's get ready to worship. I will let you guys know who the winner of the $10 Fizz gift card is for Will It Float next week. Make sure you tune in to find out. While we're getting the worship team up here, take a minute. Hey, get your room ready. Kind of get your mind straight and squared away around what we're about to do. For those of us who are new, maybe it's your first time here or you haven't been around the church a long time, we sing songs of worship. And it's just an opportunity for us to tell God how much we love Him through singing a couple songs. Man, if you're in the mood, if the vibe hits, sing along in your room right where you're at. Or just like turn the lights down and just kind of listen to the words that the band is singing and try to connect on some deeper level with God this evening. There's my face is up in the chat. Smash my face. Invite a friend. There's still time. We're just getting started. I'm glad you came tonight. Give a high five or a clappy hand in the chat for the band. Here we go.
Did anybody else, when Matt said to show God how much we love you in your head, hear Elf when he's like, but I'm here now, I found you, Daddy, I love you, I love you, I love you, from Elf? Throw it in the chat, okay? I gotta know. I can't be the only one. Do you mind throwing that pat on for us? You're good, Amber. All right, we're gonna start it off with a little bit more of an upbeat, fun song. It's one of Max's favorites to play on the drums, so you guys show him some love after this, because it's a fun one, okay? There is a name that breaks all chains. There is a name above all names. So I will not fear, no, I won't be afraid. You are the one who's strong to save. I ran from you and still you came. I rest secure in your amazing grace. The name of Jesus will be my fortress. No power on earth could ever stand against it. I fear no evil, I will take courage, for all of creation has to bow before Him. And I am fighting through the night. You are the one that dawns the light. There is a name that brings the dead to life. Oh, the name of Jesus will be my fortress. No power on earth could ever No power on earth could ever stand against it. I fear no evil. I will take courage, for all of creation has to bow before him. The name of Jesus will be my fortress. No power on earth could ever stand against it. I fear no evil. I will take courage, for all of creation has to bow before him. And at the mention, my enemies scatter. At the mention, all the fear in me surrenders. There is nothing, oh nothing, that is stronger than the power of your name. The name of Jesus will be my fortress. No power on earth could ever stand against it. I fear no evil. I will take courage, for all of creation has to bow before him. Told you guys it's fun. Give Max a love, okay? Those drums, okay? Oh, I've heard 1,000 stories of what they think you're like, but I've heard the tender whisper of love in the dead of night, and you tell me that you're pleased and that I'm never alone. You're a good, good father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. Oh, and I've seen many searching for answers far and wide, but I know we're all searching for answers. Only you provide, 'cause you know just what we need before we say a word. You're a good, good father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. 'Cause you are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us. Oh, you're perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us. Oh, it's love so undeniable. I can hardly speak. Peace so unexplainable. I can hardly think as you call me. Deeper still as you call me. Deeper still as you call me. Deeper still into love. who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. 'Cause you are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us. I lean not on my own understanding. My life is in the hands of the maker of heaven. I lean not on my own understanding. My life is in the hands of the maker of heaven. I lean not on my own understanding. My life is in the hands of the maker of heaven. I lean not on my own understanding. My life is in the hands of the maker of heaven. I give it all. I give it all to you, God, trusting that you'll make something beautiful out of me. I give it all to you, God, trusting that you'll make something beautiful out of me. I lean not on my own understanding. My life is in the hands of the maker of heaven. I lean not on my own understanding. My life is in the hands of the maker of heaven. I give it all to you, God, trusting that you'll make something beautiful out of me. I give it all to you, God, trusting that you'll make something beautiful out of me. I give it all to you, God, trusting that you'll make something beautiful out of me. I give it all to you, God, trusting that you'll make something beautiful out of me. So before I start this next part, there's something that I was thinking about that's like really cool to think about, okay? So when we're worshiping, you always see people standing there with their hands in the air, something like that, right? Well, when we were at camp, it's been 3 years, hasn't it been, Matt? 2 years? Okay, man. Gotta thank Code for that one. But they were talking about it, right? When you're worshiping, you can either sit there with your hands open, right? So like this, where you're just giving it all to God, right? And you're just sitting there, and that's how you're worshiping. And then when you have your hands down, that's when you're dropping everything for God. So as we go through this next worship part, there's a part that goes through, I will climb this mountain with my hands wide open. And just think about that analogy. Your hands are wide open. You're giving it all to God throughout all of this time and not wavering at all. And I will climb this mountain with my hands wide open. I will climb this mountain with my hands wide open. I will climb this mountain with my hands wide open. I will climb this mountain with my hands wide open. I will climb this mountain with my hands wide open. I will climb this mountain with my hands wide open. I will climb this mountain with my hands wide open. I will climb this mountain with my hands wide. There's nothing I hold on to. 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 There's nothing I hold on. I lean not on my own understanding. My life is in the hands of the maker of heaven. I lean not on my own understanding. My life is in the hands of the maker of heaven. I lean not on my own understanding. My life is in the hands of the maker of heaven. I lean not on my own understanding. My life is in the hands of the maker of heaven. I give it all to you, God, trusting that you'll make something beautiful out of me. I give it all to you, God, trusting that you'll make something beautiful out of me. God, just thank you so much for letting everybody be able to be here and worship you, and just being able to learn to know what it is to give it all to you, God, and to just be there with our hands wide open, knowing that we can trust in you for whatever we're going through, God, no matter what the hardship is, no matter what trouble it is, no matter how easy it is, God, that we can just rely on you throughout all of that time. And we're so grateful for all of that, God, and we're grateful for everybody here watching tonight, and just help us to be able to take in this message that Matt has, and we're just here for you, God, and help us to be able to just lean on that throughout the rest of this message. And we just pray for all of these things in your name, God. Amen.
All right. Hey, thanks for sticking with us. I'm so glad you guys came tonight. We are in week 3 of a series that we've been calling Afterlife, where we've been looking at real life examples of people who experienced Jesus before he rose from the dead, watched him as he died, and then had experiences with him after he died, and how that changed their life, how their afterlife was so much different. And here's what I want you guys to do. If you're in the room or if you're watching online, I want you to use the hands up emoji right now if you have a sibling. Give me the hands up if you have a sibling, right? Show me in the chat if you've got a sibling, a brother, sister, someone else. I was one of 3 kids. I was the baby. I was the youngest of the 3, and kind of spoiled, not even going to lie, but that's okay. If you were the first or the middle child or one of middle children, that's okay. We still love you also. Yeah, raise your hand if you were one of the siblings. And for those of you who don't, I just want to explain something. I want to give you like some sibling dynamics, and anybody here who has a sibling will understand what I'm talking about. See, one of the best parts of having a brother or sister is that you can blame them for stuff. No, it's true, right? No, it's true. See, all right, when I was a kid, all right, there were 3 of us, and I'll just tell you, when I was growing up, 3 of us, my older sister, my brother was the middle, I was the baby, and my mom, we were raised by a single parent, my mom worked all the time. And so a lot of the times we were just kind of watching ourselves. And, we were only a year apart, each one of us. And so a lot of the time, things would get kind of out of pocket. And, things would get broken or things would get lost or used that weren't supposed to. And the standard answer, my mom used to always say, and she didn't have 3 kids, that she had 4 kids. Because if ever something ever happened and she'd come back and say, hey, who did this? Our answer, all 3 of us would always be, not me. Not me. And she said, well, I must have a 4th child named not me, because this not me kid is getting into all kinds of trouble. But that was the thing. Like, I was the baby. I got blamed for a lot of stuff. And that's the thing you can do when you have siblings. You blame them for stuff. Like you can point at them when something breaks at the kitchen. Who broke this thing? Oh, it was them. You can shovel off your green beans onto their plate so that you can get dessert. My sister... classic story, my sister, she hated Brussels sprouts. Anybody throw in the chat if you're a fan of Brussels sprouts. If you say yes, that's okay. We can still be friends. I don't like Brussels sprouts. My family didn't. My brother and sister didn't like Brussels sprouts. And I remember one time we were having dinner, and my sister, she's one of these, she's the oldest. She was stubborn, right? She has this stubborn personality. And she decided she wasn't going to eat those Brussels sprouts. But my mom said, you can't leave the table until you eat the Brussels sprouts. Now, I can't remember what the main dish was, some kind of meat, because we like meat. We're meat eaters. Sorry, Ethan. But we had meat. And then we had tater tots. You guys like tater tots? Throw in the chat if you like tater tots, right? So I ate all my tots. There's nothing left for me except to muscle down these little globs of snot called Brussels sprouts. And... my sister, she's stubborn, but she's smart too, right? So she came up with a brilliant idea. This is why she's so much smarter than us. She, when mom wasn't looking, hollowed out her tater tots and put a Brussels sprout in each one and left it there. And so mom didn't say you had to eat all your tater tots. She just said you had to eat all your Brussels sprouts. And so my sister hid her Brussels sprouts in the tater tots. Genius. You can steal that. Next time you're stuck with a plate of tater tots and Brussels sprouts, take the L, fill the tater tots with your Brussels sprouts, and you can get out of there. See, brothers and sisters are why phrases like, they did it, or they did it first, or it wasn't my fault, were invented. Am I right? I mean, this is like brother and sister 101. Look, even if you don't have a sibling, you probably had someone in your childhood who put the blame on you for something they did. Whether it's a cousin, or a classmate, or a friend, or maybe you had someone that you blamed for your mess-ups, right? Someone that you just dropped it on and said, oh, it wasn't me, it was so-and-so, it was them. See, the thing with it is our impulses as kids don't really change as adults. You look at me and you go, oh, no shocker there. You still act like you're 13. But see, here's the thing. Most people, and myself included, we remain pretty skilled at avoiding responsibility and putting the blame on someone else. We get really, really good at it. And let me ask you a question, and you can throw it in the chat. Do you remember the last time that you felt guilty? And don't tell me in the chat what you did that made you feel guilty. Just throw it in the chat. Do you remember the last time you felt guilty? Maybe you copied a little too much of your friend's homework. And maybe you felt guilty about that. I mean, maybe you didn't tell your girlfriend like the whole story of what happened at the party. Maybe you lingered a little too long on that website. Maybe you told your stepmom that you were going one place, and you did, but like with a totally different group of friends than she thought you were going with. Or maybe you said you were there studying the whole time, but you were really just binging a new show with your textbook open. No, I've been studying all day. Tiger King. I don't know. See, there are all sorts of things to feel guilty about. And no matter how old we get, it seems like our reaction is a lot like a 5-year-old. Right? I have a 5-year-old grandson, and like you call him on it and say, hey, Win, who left the marshmallows open and spilled on the floor of the pantry? And he go, not me. Well, there's no one else that would do that. But see, we act like a 5-year-old when we get called on something, like we hide, or we stretch the truth, or we make up excuses, or we try to cover it up altogether. Throw in the chat right now, what is something you got in trouble for as a little kid? What's something you got in trouble for as a little kid? I'll share one of my stories. I wasn't a little kid, but like it's probably the worst trouble I got into in elementary school. I remember I was in 5th grade, and some of you have been around church a while. You already know this story. I was in 5th grade. It was Halloween day, right? I'm in 5th grade. My older brother, he's a year older than me. He's in 6th grade. We had 2 good friends who lived right next door, and we rode the bus to school. And we decided on Halloween day, now we weren't bright kids, Halloween day, we decided that we were going to skip school, we were going to slough, we weren't going to get on the bus, we were going to hide until my mom left for work, and then we were going to hang out all day in my house, goofing off and having a great time. And then, it's Halloween. We're going to go out Halloween trick-or-treating, we're going to get bags of candy, it's going to be the greatest, most epic day ever. Until we got caught. You know? And then see, the crazy thing about how we got caught was, like, we didn't even do what we were accused of doing that made us get caught. See, there was an elementary school in the neighborhood, and someone went to that elementary school and stole candy from little kids, and the people at that school said it was us. But we never left the house, right? But that school they said, oh, it's those Studi boys. And so they called my mom, and my mom said, no, that's impossible. My boys are at school today. They got on the bus and went to school. And she called our school, and guess what? They said, no, your kids aren't in school today. Busted. Yeah, we didn't go trick-or-treating that year. We got to stay home. It was terrible. It was terrible, but I deserved it. What do we got in the chat? Spitting on my friend's bike. He was sorry. Oh, Bethany did that. Bethany, what? You spit on your friend's bike? That's out of pocket. Wow, I would not have expected that from you. But see, when we do something and we get caught, then we feel guilty, right? And when we feel guilty, we get really good at hiding. And like if you're like me, you probably have all sorts of hiding tricks. Like maybe you do something and you get caught, and then like you're like, man, I'm gonna skip. Like when we're back on Wednesday nights, you think, man, I'm gonna skip small group because I really don't want to see my small group leader, or maybe it's your coach, or whatever adult is speaking into your life. Like you try not to make eye contact with that teacher. Or you ghost your friends, or we play it cool around the people in charge. Like we may even turn our location services off or hide our location. Like we do everything we can to act as though nothing happened. Even though on the inside, we know that what we did was wrong and it's tearing us up. And this isn't just what we do with other people. Right? Like if we believe in God, chances are good that our guilt causes us to hide from Him too. Right? We know God knows what we did is wrong, so like we back away from our relationship with Him. Like it's easy to hide something we did from people around us, right? And you just don't tell them about it, or you try to cover it up, or you whatever. But it's a lot more complicated to hide from God. Because you think of it like God's everywhere. He knows and sees everything. We can't actually want to run away from Him. So we just start to make Him less and less a part of our lives. You think, man, if I just don't engage with him, then I don't have to deal with that guilt. I don't have to deal with that shame. I'll just separate. I'll just make him distant and not a real active part in my life. Like maybe you would still go to small group, but when the conversation gets real, you don't speak up anymore. Like you just sit there quiet. Maybe you still show up to church online or in person when we're back, but you're not really feeling it in worship anymore. Like maybe you used to be all about the songs and you felt so connected to God, and now you're going, man, I'll go through the motions, but I'm not connecting, I'm not feeling it, and I don't even know if I want to. Maybe you tell everyone that, man, I just got too much going on with school and sports, but you really just don't want to participate in this faith stuff anymore. Like you're just pushing away. And no matter what it looks like for you, like we all tend to let our guilt get in the way of our faith. And thankfully, like we're not the first people to have these kinds of experiences with guilt, right? The Bible provides plenty of examples that we can learn from, and we're going to talk about one of them today. See, the last few weeks, as I mentioned, we've been going through this series as part of the Easter season, and we've been in this series called Afterlife. We looked at people who physically saw Jesus after the resurrection. Now think about this for a second. Like if you were to see a friend who died, like just walking down the street, like it would change you, right? Like, you may go, zombie, but probably, that's probably not what they did to Jesus. See, it would change you, it would impact you. Like, it would change how you view your life. And for many people, their lives were radically different after they saw the resurrected Jesus. Their life after, or their afterlife was dramatically changed. And that includes a guy named Peter. And if you read the book, the Bible, if you've been in the church a while, you probably have some idea who Peter was. Peter was one of Jesus' closest friends, and he was a key leader during the early days of the Christian movement. But see, Peter had some run-ins with guilt and shame like we sometimes do. See, Peter was known as being Jesus' like loud friend. Like he was that kid, he didn't hold his tongue. Whatever he thinks, that's what he says. He was that guy. Like we all have a friend like that. Like maybe you're that person. And this got Peter in a lot of trouble from time to time. And the worst example, it has happened when Jesus was sentenced to die on a cross. See, when Jesus was arrested, Peter literally cut a guy's ear off. Like he was ready to throw down. He was ready to fight and defend Jesus. And look, it's not a recommended strategy to prove your loyalty to a friend, but hey, at least he was there for Jesus, right? The rest of the disciples scattered. But see, just hours later, when Jesus was given like this sketchy, bogus trial, Peter stood nearby and he lied 3 separate times about his connection to Jesus. In fact, he denied even knowing the guy. Even worse, like if you read before that in the Bible, before any of that happened, Jesus told Peter he would do exactly that. He told him. He told him that he would deny being connected to Jesus. Jesus basically told Peter, I've experienced your loyalty so far, but when it comes down to the end, you won't be loyal to me. And Peter defends himself. He tries to assure Jesus, says, that would never happen. I will never do that. And then, at Jesus' lowest moment, that's exactly what Peter did. Jesus was arrested, he was tried, and nailed to a Roman cross. And the last thing Peter did was deny even knowing him. I mean, is that hitting the feels? I almost feel guilty for him. What a brutal end to his story, right? Put yourself in his shoes. If you're there, if this is your best friend, if it's a guy you've hung out with every day for 3 years, you've eaten meals together, you've gone on vacations together, this is a guy who you're loyal to, you look up to him, he's your teacher, he's your friend, and you say, man, I will never deny you. I will never leave you. I'll be there to the end. I'll fight for you. And then when your chance comes, I don't even know him. I've never been with that guy. Must be someone else you're talking about. And how would you feel after he was gone? Like, I had a chance. I had a chance to do something incredible. I had a chance to put my money where my mouth was. I had a chance to be that guy who didn't abandon him. But I did exactly what he said I would. But see, like we've talked about in this series, Jesus' death wasn't the end of the story. Easter happens, right? The tomb is empty, and Jesus is alive. And the whole direction of the story changes, which is awesome, unless you're Peter. Unless you're Peter, right? He's still living in this guilt. He's still dealing with the shame. And maybe it's worse now that Jesus is back, right? Maybe he had mixed feelings. He probably thought, man, I'm so glad he's back. But does that mean I have to face him after what I did to him? To Peter, it's possible that the resurrection was a reminder of the guilt that he felt. And if he felt guilt, I sometimes wonder if he ran through all of the same phases of guilt that we do. I wonder if he wanted to lie or exaggerate or defend himself or even hide from Jesus altogether. Like, how must have those days been for him? Is he knows. Like, he knows what I did. And how can I face him again? See, the Bible tells us, though, that a few days later, Jesus was on the shore of Galilee. Peter was in a boat with the other disciples, and he saw Jesus, and they went to the shore, and Jesus made breakfast, and he brought up the thing that no doubt was weighing on Peter's mind. The Bible says when he finished eating, Jesus said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? Yes, Lord, he said, you know that I love you. And Jesus said, feed my lambs. And again, Jesus said, Simon, son of John, do you love me? And he answered, yes, Lord, you know that I love you. And Jesus said, take care of my sheep. And the third time he said to him, Simon, son of John, do you love me? And like Peter was hurt. Because Jesus asked him a third time, do you love me? He said, Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you. And Jesus said, feed my sheep. That's John 21:15-17. See, Peter denied knowing Jesus 3 times. And then Jesus asks Peter, do you love me 3 times? See, in other words, for every time that Peter denied knowing Jesus, Jesus gives Peter another chance. And in giving him a chance, Peter knows that he's loved and he's forgiven. And Jesus wants Peter to know that he has a second chance. He even tells Peter that he wants him to continue to lead, which is why he said, feed my sheep. See, this exchange is so interesting. Jesus asked Peter if he still loves him. And as humiliating and terrible as it was for Peter to deny Jesus, here was a chance to make it right. See, even though Peter may have given up on himself, Jesus hadn't given up on him. See, Peter could have given into his guilt and he could have gone into hiding, but that isn't what Jesus wanted for Peter. Jesus didn't want Peter's life to be defined by guilt. He wanted Peter to experience grace. See, Peter knew Jesus had been killed, and he saw Jesus after he came back from life. This proved to Peter that Jesus was capable of offering him the grace he needed to forgive himself. See, the resurrection showed Peter the power that Jesus had, and Peter's encounter with Jesus on the beach showed that Jesus chose to offer him powerful grace. See, the resurrection proved that guilt didn't have to destroy Peter's faith. Instead, grace could destroy his guilt and fuel his faith. See, because of grace, Peter was no longer controlled by his guilt. Because of grace, Peter accepted the love Jesus offered him. Because of grace, Peter traveled around the world preaching about the same grace that changed his life. Think of it this way. Because of the resurrection, Peter knew he was forgiven. Because of the resurrection, Peter knew he was forgiven. Like, I don't know what's been causing you to feel guilt, but chances are that the entire time we've discussed this topic, like maybe you've had something on your mind. Like, if you're ready for something new, I want to give you a couple of steps that you can start taking, like right now. A couple of easy steps. Number one, get real about where you feel guilt. And this can be tough, I get it, especially if you've hidden something so deep that you feel numb to it. But think about where you feel like this lingering guilt right now. Like, be honest with yourself right now. Acknowledge it. Like, journal it. Write it down. Put it down in a note on your phone. Just get honest. Just be real with yourself. What's making you feel guilt right now? Where's your shame located? Name it. Call it out. And number two, remember that guilt is no match for God's grace. Guilt is no match for God's grace. Like, ask God to remind you that He is with you and He is for you. Even on those days. Even when you feel like you're riddled with guilt and shame that you can't even handle it yourself. Like, ask Him to cover your guilt with the overwhelming reality of His grace. Listen, Easter matters for a lot of reasons, right? It shows us how big God's love is, what exactly God is like, and how God is more powerful than anything, including death. But Easter also shows us that Jesus is bigger than our guilt. And if Jesus gives us grace, it's ours for the taking. It's when you feel those old guilt feelings kick in, ask God to give you a new reaction. Now, number three, keep showing up and speaking up. Like, I encourage you, do the opposite of what guilt may have guided you to do in the past. Instead of hiding, like, show up in your small group's text thread. Show up at church gatherings. Show up and hang out with your friends. Show up to meetings with your small group leaders. Like, after the resurrection, look, Peter didn't hide from Jesus. It would have been easier to do, but he didn't do it. And like Peter, let's keep showing up. So the resurrection proved that our guilt is no match for God's grace. Like, we don't have to let guilt change our faith anymore. Instead, we get to let grace change our guilt. Right? We know that talking about God's grace is one thing, but experiencing it is something else entirely. Why? Because that's what the resurrection Jesus demonstrated in Peter's life. And that's why Peter's afterlife was so powerful. See, while he was still alive here on earth, right, he went around and he used that and he changed the course of history. Because of the resurrection, Peter realized that grace is greater than guilt. And because of Easter, you can realize it as well. And maybe you're watching tonight. Maybe a friend invited you and you don't know about all this whole Jesus talk and who He is. That's fine, man. I'm glad you're watching. But maybe you're watching tonight and you've been watching for a while, or maybe you attend a different church and you've been tracking and you're like getting close and you're ready. You go, man, this voice just keeps saying, man, it's time to cross the line of faith. It's time to put my trust in this Jesus person. I want to experience that grace. I want to experience release from my guilt and my shame. And if you're feeling that tonight, I want to give you an opportunity. In just a minute, I'm going to pray, and then we're going to have Riley put a moment on the chat that gives you a chance to respond. That if you pray this prayer, and there's no magic words in the prayer, it's just acknowledging who we are and what we need. And if God's talking to you tonight, if He's saying it's time, then I want you to say these words. Would you bow your heads and close your eyes? If God's talking to you, say this to Him tonight. God, I'm a sinner. I have sinned against you in thought, word, and deed. There have been times in my life, God, where I thought I could be good enough, if I just did enough good things, that I could be made right in your sight. But Lord, tonight I realize that I could never be good enough on my own. That I need help. That I need a Savior that can pay a debt of sin that I can never pay to make me right with you again. And God, I want that. I want to be freed from my guilt. I want to accept the gift of your grace. And tonight, for the first time ever, Lord, I put my faith and trust in you. I believe you are who you said you were. I believe you have the power to crush sin and death. And that by putting my faith in you, you'll change me from the inside out to make me into the person that you created me to be. And that one day I will live forever in eternity with you. If you prayed that prayer for the first time ever tonight, I want you to be so brave. I'm going to ask you to do something. Riley's going to put a moment up in the chat that gives you an opportunity to respond. And all it says is, like, I chose today. And when you click on that link, it's going to take you off the page. It's going to take you into another website with just a basic information page. And I'm asking you to be super brave. If you cross that line of faith tonight, just give me your name and some basic information. I have a small gift that I'd love to send you to celebrate today. Because if you made that decision today, if you cross the line of faith today, your eternity is changed forever. And I want to celebrate that with you. So click that button. If that's you tonight, I made a decision. I crossed the line of faith. I chose Jesus tonight. Click that button. Be so brave. I'm not going to spam you. I'm not going to tell the world about it. But I want to send you a gift. Fill out that form. Give me your name and just some basic information. I'll reach out to you and I'll follow up with you. I know there's a couple people from last month who clicked that button. And I know you're still waiting on your little gift. I'm waiting for some more to come in. But as soon as they come in, I'm going to send those out to you guys too. So take a minute and do that. If you have a prayer request, if there's something heavy on your heart, you got some junk going on in your life, we have that prayer button available to you right now. You can hit that button. It'll take you into a side private chat with one of our small group leaders and give them an opportunity to pray for whatever's going on in your life right now. If it's junk going on in your life, man, we want to pray for your junk. If you got praise reports, great things are going on, life is super right now, man, let us pray and celebrate that with you too. We are going to be opening up May 2nd. We won't be on Wednesday nights. After that, we'll only be on Sunday mornings, but we're going to continue to do our live stream. We're going to push this service out twice every Sunday so that if you can't make it to church, you can still watch online. You can invite your friends. We're going to keep it hopefully a little bit fun, a little bit cool. Make sure you join us for that. If you are in 7th grade right now and you're watching, I want to let you know about an event that we're going to invite you to. Because COVID last year, we didn't really get a chance to do a welcome and an open house for you. So on Wednesday, April 28th, we are going to open the doors of our student space. We're going to have an open house for all of our new 7th graders coming in, and for our current 7th graders who will be in 8th grade. We just want to connect with you. So plan on coming and hanging out with us. 6:30 to 8, I think, is the time. We'll push it out on the socials. Be looking for that. If you're not following us on our socials, join us. Follow us. We're on Instagram, @Students at the Heights. We're also on Facebook for your parents. I'm not on Twitter or TikTok because I just don't have that much to say online, but join us, follow us on Facebook or Instagram. If you have any questions about Jesus, God, the Bible, life in general, I'm going to hang on line for just a few minutes. You can throw it in the chat. I'll do my best to respond to anything you have. Otherwise, you guys are free to go. Thanks for joining us tonight. You guys are out of here.